Tonight on the Night Team. More than 580 Kentuckians have lost their lives on the road so far this year.
It's very hard, and I keep doing it because I don't want it to happen to anybody else.
Tonight, their families are remembering their loved ones and calling on our lawmakers for change. Plus, one of the crew members who died on board UPS Flight 2796 has returned home to Texas, sent into the sky by a salute from his fellow pilots. And later,
so we feel that we're going to get all the information we need.
We're hearing from a retired airplane inspector who previously worked on this exact UPS MD-11 that crashed. Focus investigates the maintenance history of the plane. Right now on the WHAS11 Night Team. First here tonight at 11, a man is dead after being shot inside an apartment in the Bashford Manor neighborhood early this morning. Police say just before 12:30 this morning, they responded to reports of a shooting off Kemmons Drive where they found a man who had been shot. He was transported to Louisville Hospital where he later died. There are no known suspects at this time, and LMPD's homicide unit is investigating. Anyone with information is encouraged to call the anonymous tip line at 574 LMPD. New here tonight, complete food service assistance has been restored for over 500,000 Hoosiers. The Indiana Family and Social Services Administration announced yesterday it would start to issue SNAP benefits following the government's reopening. Those eligible can expect the funds to be available on their EBT cards today, and the agency says this includes those whose regular issuance date has passed. Meanwhile, the debate of affordable health care still looms, as the Senate is expected to vote on it before the end of the year. Democrats and Republicans continue to be split on the matter.
We're not going to repeal Obamacare. We're going to fix Obamacare. Let's fix the cost of health care, which we can, instead of continuing to mask the cost with these massive subsidies.
We have to do everything that we can to get this through and then negotiate something that works for Americans in the long term. I personally think our healthcare system is deeply broken.
With affordable health care tax credits expiring this year, millions are already seeing skyrocketed premiums. Republicans continue to float alternatives to tax credits, but no official legislation has been proposed. Many Democrats insist tax credits should be extended so that Congress can work to change the health care system in the coming years. Some news that will leave air travelers relieved. The FAA announced today that flight reductions will be lifted starting tomorrow. In the past few weeks, flights were cut at least 4% due to staffing shortages on account of the government shutdown. Louisville's Muhammad Ali International Airport was one of those impacted airports, but starting tomorrow on Monday, air traffic will slowly start picking back up. And thanks for joining us here on the Night Team. I'm Alex Dieterer. Today, Louisville honors people lost to road traffic deaths in the metro. Hundreds of people have died on our roads so far this year. And at TARC's administrative office tonight, their names were listed and a candlelight vigil was held. The Night Team's Clarice Shaley and photojournalist Connie Offit show how a number of families came together to honor their loved ones' lives by calling for change.
Well, he definitely was a hard worker. He had 2 jobs.
That's 19-year-old Derek Wright Jr.
He loved us, make people laugh. He's very kind, caring, and general. He's good.
His mother, Brandy Stafford Wright, smiles through the pain. She lost her oldest son 2 years, 2 months, and 8 days ago. He was coming home after grabbing a snack on Dixie Highway when he was hit and the driver kept going. No matter the time that goes by,
And it doesn't take much to smell the song or,
the pain stays.
it's time of the day, anything is a trigger right now, so.
Stafford Wright stands with others.
Who was hit by an impaired driver on July 8th and passed away on July 10th after 2 days on life support.
Holding pictures, keeping count after losing their loved ones to road traffic incidents. More than 580 Kentuckians have lost their lives on the road so far this year, according to the Kentucky Office of Highway Safety.
I can't do anything else for him. I couldn't save it. There's a lot that I couldn't do, but I could do this.
Janet Heston,
Sorry.
chooses to honor her son, who died in a road accident, through a life of advocating for change.
We are asking that lawmakers on the state level allow Louisville to have automated speed cameras. We have tried to get that for several years.
State officials like Louisville Representative Rachel Rorix are listening.
This is something that I've become really passionate about, is creating more vehicular homicide penalties for things like egregious speeds, things where people are driving just way too fast.
She's filing a bill this session, and local leaders like Metro Councilman J.P. Lininger says he wants to help.
We can make safer lives for everyone in Louisville, and we can help prevent more tragedies. And I want to do whatever I can to be part of that.
And strive to keep victims at the table as they ensure fewer are added to the list. In Union Station, Clarice Shaley, WHAS11 Night Team on your side.
Metro Council called for 0 roadway deaths by 2050 through a transportation safety initiative. And now we're about 3 years into that plan. Senator Jimmy Higdon of Lebanon is also filing a bill this session for hands-free devices in vehicles. Captain Dana Diamond, one of the 3 pilots who died after UPS Flight 2976 exploded during takeoff, is now back home. You can see here a group from Independent Pilots Association and UPS pilots all saluting as the remains of Captain Diamond return to his home in Texas. These other pilots who were also on the flight include First Officer Lee Truitt and Captain Richard Wartenberg. More Boeing plane models are being grounded after the deadly UPS plane crash last week. The FAA expanded their emergency directive, which was issued November 8th, to now include the older DC-10 aircraft. This directive was previously issued to ground the MD-11 models of airplane. That's the same model that crashed here in Louisville, and that was due to out of an abundance of caution. There are only 8 DC-10 aircrafts in service, and the expansion is unlikely to affect day-to-day air travel. UPS said they no longer operate any DC-10s. And Focus reporter Travis Breeze, who first broke the story of this plane's maintenance record last week, has new reporting, speaking to a retired airplane inspector who previously worked on this exact UPS MD-11 that crashed. The inspector says the plane was in for regularly scheduled maintenance in San Antonio from September to mid-October.
Yes, it was routine.
Jeff Coates, a retired airplane inspector, speaking with me over the phone on Tuesday. The ABC affiliate in San Antonio, KSAT, is reporting Coates' former employer, ST Engineering, worked on the UPS MD-11F about a month and a half before it crashed. FAA records show Coates' signature on airworthiness directives for this aircraft as recently as 2023. The forms refer to the company as VT San Antonio Aerospace. Todd Inman with the NTSB confirmed Friday they are looking at the maintenance from September 3rd to October 18th as part of the investigation.
It was in for what we call a heavy check.
Coates says the plane was in for a C check, which is something it gets every 2 years. A center wing upper fuel tank had a crack in it. Based on what you've seen about this crash, could that have been any part of this crash, do you think?
100% no chance.
How big of a deal the San Antonio maintenance is, still undetermined. But the NTSB is paying close attention.
We've actually dispatched additional people to retrieve some records. The FAA has assisted us, so we feel that we're going to get all the information we need.
Coates just asks people to be careful as we wait for the final report.
And to throw UPS under the airlines or under the bus or VT is not fair. Let's see what happened.
The 31-year-old airplane had almost 93,000 hours of flight time. After this maintenance, it completed 28 more flights before the crash on November 4th.
UPS and FedEx have grounded their MD-11s out in an abundance of caution. Coates would not answer if he thinks the C checks for this aircraft need to be more frequent, leaving it up to the FAA and NTSB. The Environmental Protection Agency gave an update this week about their response to UPS Flight 2976. According to the statement, the Region 4 EPA team has finished its response and are on standby for assistance as the Kentucky Department for Environmental Protection remains on site to finish cleanup. So far, crews have recovered more than 626,000 gallons of oil water and mix from the first half mile of the impacted creek. Surface water sampling began on November 8th and will continue daily along drainage channels leading into the Salt River. As we continue to follow this story on air, you can get the latest on the UPS crash, including our latest streaming special, Remembering UPS Flight 2976. You can do all of that by going to WHAS11.com or by downloading the WHAS11 Plus app to your phone or smart TV.
So it'll be on the floor again next week. I suspect there'll be lots of votes that we'll just get this done and move it on. There's nothing to hide, and the Oversight Committee is releasing far more information than the discharge petition, their little gambit, ever even anticipated.
In an interview today with Fox News Sunday, House Speaker Mike Johnson says President Trump, quote, has nothing to hide, end quote, as lawmakers push to force the release of Justice Department files tied to the Jeffrey Epstein sex trafficking investigation. The legislation set for a vote this week would require the DOJ to release all Epstein-related files, with victims' identities and ongoing investigations redacted. The debate comes as Kentucky Congressman Thomas Massie says lawmakers must choose between the political protection of the president and the expectations of their constituents.
You will have voted to protect pedophiles if you don't vote to release these files, and the president can't protect you then. This vote, the record of this vote, will last longer than Donald Trump's presidency.
President Trump responded to Massie, dismissing the effort as a political hoax and denies any wrongdoing, despite his name appearing in previously released documents.
So they're using Jeffrey Epstein as a deflection from the tremendous success that we're having as a party.
If the bill passes the House, it still faces the Senate and a likely veto from the president.